So hypocrisy is the lubrication of political intercourse. Hey guys, welcome back. Matt with BAAM Ranch, podcast episode 008. It's been a while since I've done, a podcast episode, and I hope pretty soon to get these uploaded to Spotify. I want to actually start doing a legit podcast. So what I wanted to talk about in today's episode was, the current political atmosphere that we're in. We're a couple weeks from a very, very important election that we all need to be paying attention to. Globally, everything is just kind of going down the tube. And I kind of wanted to give an update and share a story with you guys about this YouTube channel and what I'm actually doing here and what I hope to accomplish. That won't take but just a minute or two, so let's knock that out of the way first. I'm not going to read it word for word, and I'm not going to mention who it was, but I received an email from someone that was affected by one of the recent hurricanes. And it basically said, hey, thanks, I found your channel, and I got to listening to you, and we started putting back some food and water, and they actually purchased one of the generators that I had reviewed on my channel before, and it really did help them out, and that's freaking awesome, man. I guess if somebody were to ask what my passion in life is, and that's to be able to help people and to be able to teach. And I really, really hope that there is something out there that somebody can get good from about what I'm doing. And maybe somebody can learn something. Maybe it can help somebody with something. Because that's what I'm really wanting, right? This channel has reached a point where I need to start doing something to allow it to support itself. That's the reason why I've included some of the Amazon links and stuff. But for me to be able to actually address some of the issues that I would like to address, I've got to find a way to have this thing start paying for itself, right? Hard drives and computers and lights and time. Every one of these little 15-minute videos you see, believe it or not, takes me 4 or 5 hours worth of time. That's time away from my family. All sorts of little products that I'd like to review, but I have to pay for those first, So that's part of the reason why I've started doing some of those Amazon links. The channel has started to make a few dollars on, from ad revenue. Most months, if not every other month, I'll get a check for $100, thereabouts. That's the minimum threshold that you have to meet before Google will go ahead and give you a payout. That doesn't do anything like remotely close to covering the costs of this, but it helps a little bit. That was really inspiring to get that email and to know that I actually helped somebody. And I hope that I can help other people. I hope that that's always something I can do. This channel is about preparedness-based homesteading and helping you live a life you love living. And here's the thing, regardless of the political atmosphere, there's very little they can do to affect you absolutely personally, at least in a big way, from living a life that you love to live. There's different geographical areas and things like that can, play a hand in that. But all in all, we really do have a lot more individual control over our lives than what most people would be willing to admit. And that's what this channel is about. Yes, we do survival and prepping. But the reason we do that is so that when everybody else's normal stops, ours can continue. But I want to establish a normal that I like, you know, and being self-sufficient, self-reliant, not having to worry about money, being able to rely on people in your network rather than government. All of these things improve our lives and give us something that is a life worth living. And that's what the main goal. This is a lifestyle design channel. And that comes out, I want to let that come out a whole lot more on the podcast end of it rather than just the video stuff. I really want to find a way to monetize this podcast. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. But believe me, I'll be transparent with you guys on the way I do that. And hey, if you got any suggestions, I'd love to hear it, because if I could fund this and be able to build a website, man, we could make it a lot better. We can make it better together. So anyway, on to the political shenanigans. This whole freaking election that we've got coming up in a couple weeks, the big picture is things will continue to go downhill if Harris gets elected. Things will still go downhill if Trump gets elected, but will go downhill at a slightly lower velocity. Don't make any mistake that, here comes the great Trumpkin getting the band back together and everything's going to be solved and we won't have anything to worry about. Because the truth is, it is more than what anyone could fix in a 4-year term. Let's be honest, it's more than what anyone could fix in an 8-year term. And I don't quite know at this point just how fixable it truly is. Now, what I suspect, if Trump wins, interest rates will go down a little bit. The economy will improve a little bit. There will be a little bit less worry about, war and things like that. But all of these improvements are small. They're incremental improvements. And make no mistake, those are going to be short-lived. But how can we capitalize on that? How can we use that to our best advantage? And one thing I would say is, like I said, interest rates and inflation and pricing and supply chain issues are going to slightly improve. So if you've been thinking about, refinancing your house, or you need to buy a piece of equipment for a business, or it's starting to look like it's time to, you may need to buy another vehicle. I understand not everybody can just go pay cash for a reliable vehicle. As a matter of fact, few people can. If Trump gets elected, that had better be something you do before he gets out of office. There's a lot of debate on what all he can actually do. Now, first and foremost, it's going to be an absolute shit show, regardless of who wins. I don't care who wins. It's going to be a shit show for months. There's going to be protests if Kamala wins. There's going to be protests if the Trumpkin wins. It's going to be bad. I've actually considered taking off the day of and the day after Election Day from work. Just not necessarily because I think that something crazy is going to happen where I'm at, because I'm somewhat insulated from that, both through physical location and, I live in Texas, so there's, it's not going to be as bad here as it is in, Portland or possibly DC or something like that, just from the area I live in. But I want to keep track of everything that goes on with that. I'm actually pretty interested in it. And who knows, we may do some live stream with that as well. No guarantees yet, not making any promises, but we'll see what happens. Next, what if Harris wins? Well, there's no mistake that we thought Biden was an idiot. We thought that he was incompetent. Oh my God, have you seen this lady? How how did this happen? How did we wind up here? This is, this is what happens whenever people aren't allowed to vote on something. They fully intended on her replacing Joe Biden during the last election. I think that's why they picked her. Joe Biden has served his purpose. They've used him for everything that he is. And as soon as this election is over, they're going to shove him out the door, flick him off like an old booger, and move on to using someone else, which is this Cackles, to accomplish the things that they need to get done. And make no mistake, this is bigger than the office of the president. The office of the president of the United States is the puppet, and they're just the ones that do the talking, right? The big they. Leave it to yourself to decide who the big they is. Are the ones that are actually in control of things. And I don't think that Donald Trump is immune to that. I think he has a lot of influence from, the big they as well. I just think that influence might be slightly more in favor to people like you and I. Now, if Kamala wins, she's immediately going to go and cause, another gun scare. This happens every time a Democrat wins. Why haven't y'all bought this stuff by now? Come on. Why haven't y'all already purchased this stuff? We go through this every 4 years, dude. Come on. We're definitely going to run into some interest issues. Interest rates are going to go up. She's wanting to give, which I don't know if it'll actually happen. You remember, Biden pretty much won his election from giving free shit away that nobody ever got. We were all going to get an extra stimulus, and nobody got shit. We were all going to get all this stuff. But one of her promises is $25,000 to first-time home buyers. That's okay. Housing is unaffordable. One of the reasons housing is unaffordable is there's a lack of inventory. Well, suddenly everybody else has an extra $25,000. That just made that house $25,000 more affordable. And, well, what do you know? They don't have to come up with a down payment anymore. That's going to make things incredibly worse. Like, if we aren't in a housing crisis now, you give first-time home buyers a $25,000, here you go, free shit gift. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Let alone the fact that people like us, I bought this house about a year ago. I didn't get a $25,000. Do I get one? I already bought the house. So do I get it? Same with the student loan things. What about the people that already paid off their loan? Do we go retroactively and so see, this is part of the issues that we run into. The immigration thing, she's already shown her face on her stance on that, and it is terrible. Even most, absolutely legal immigrants that I've spoken to and you've spoken to and everybody else, they agree. They think she's an idiot and they think she's going to ruin things. So we need to prepare for that in the, things are going to get tight. Groceries are going to go up. Things are going to become more unaffordable than they already are. Guns are going to get scarce. Gasoline is going to get expensive. Jobs are going to dry up. Those are the things that we need to prepare for if she gets elected. Now then, I don't know. I don't know how how Congress is going to react to what she's doing, because a president has somewhat limited ability to do things. Of course, they can go through executive order, and evidently they've just decided that presidents can do whatever. At least if they're a Democrat, they can do whatever they want. They can have gun charges and spend their weekends with whores and cocaine. Which, side note, as far as all that Hunter Biden gun charge thing, show me the victim. There wasn't a victim. There wasn't a crime. End of story. So you can dislike Hunter Biden for things that he's done, but to blame it on a gun charge, there wasn't a victim. There wasn't a crime. Simple as that. I do suspect that police recruiting is going to be a lot more difficult, and we're going to have to deal with that. It's going to be like, y'all remember the Summer of Love with all the riots and all of that mess. There's a good possibility that a lot of that's going to be coming back. And I think that is regardless of who wins, whether it's the orange man or the cackles. We're going to get the Summer of Love coming back. Which that sucks. It makes me so glad, so thankful that we don't live in the middle of one of those flashpoint cities. Now, how do we prepare for all of this? Because all of this is, this whole conversation that we always have is based on, preparedness-based homesteading. Well, you've got to take control of as much of your life as possible. If you don't have a second income stream, dude, you better get on it, like now. And having 2 streams of income, having, your job and a side hustle, that's not enough. You need a whole bunch. You need to absolutely know that if one of those goes down, you can transition to the others and make it that you can get by. That's important. You need to start putting food in buckets and stack those buckets to the rafters, man. Stack them to the rafters. Guns and ammo, let's be honest, you probably already have enough guns and you probably already have enough ammo. Don't be part of the problem with that. If you've got plenty, keep it at plenty. That doesn't mean that you should, if you buy it every week, continue to do so. Keep doing that. But if you buy 50 rounds a week, don't go out and just start buying 1,000 rounds a week. That's part of the problem. Well, we're preppers, we're not hoarders, so keep that in mind. We need to understand that groceries are going to get more expensive. 5 years ago, for my family of 4 to go out and eat, we felt like we were getting screwed because it was $60. And that was at a good place, like Red Lobster or something like that. Now, for us to go out, we can't do it for under $150. It's ridiculous. And the food isn't that great either. $200 would cover us, pretty okay for a trip to the grocery store. $400, $500, $600 grocery bills are not surprising anymore. So we've done a lot more cooking from scratch. It's something I didn't really do a whole lot of before. But I've recently, within the past few years, really picked up and started doing a lot more of it. And I'll tell you what, man, I enjoy it. We're eating better food. We feel healthier. We're saving money. And we almost hate to go out to a restaurant anymore because we can just do such a better job at home. I need to get on and start doing some more pressure canning. I really, really want to start pressure canning more of my own stuff. I think that's important. And we need to remember that that's something that can be done, even if it's collapsed or whatever, I want to buy a grain mill. I've always recommended to store wheat, and the grain mill we've been using like a crappy one, and it doesn't do that great. So I really need to get into that and get a better grain mill purchased. Other things, I'm gonna have to replace my pickup soon. Hopefully this channel and this podcast can help with that. I actually really hope it does. There's just a few things that we've got to, that I am behind on. My food is not where it needs to be. I think you need a minimum of 3 months. Just speaking where I think you need to be. And a year is better. If you have a year of food on the shelf, that gives you time to spin up your agriculture. We've discussed that in other videos. With this well that we're on, it's a deep enough well that we don't have the option of a manual pump. So I need to get set up with some rainwater harvest and some type of water storage. That is a hole that I have. I can run the well off of a generator and whatever, but I need to have a backup option to that well if that well gets compromised. That's something I'm going to have to worry about. I need to get a transfer switch installed on my house. I absolutely expect that we're going to see a more fragile power grid over the next 5 years. So that's something that we need to do. I've always just done extension cords, and I have not got set up to just plug this house directly into a generator power yet. I've had too many fires burning. I haven't had an opportunity to do that yet. It's something I got to take care of. It's one of the holes in our plan. One of the other things I want to do is I really want to push, and I think you guys should do this too. If I can do it, you can. Holler at me. I'll shout you out. We can help each other. I mean, come on. I really want to push the BAAM Ranch brand. The brand of BAAM Ranch. I want to turn this into a business. This is an absolute passion of mine. I love doing it, although I don't always have time to do it. And I've got to get this thing monetized. Whether that be through ad revenue, or one thing that I was considering doing was getting a group of vendors, a large group of vendors that can offer a discount to my subscribers. And, a membership of $5 a month will get you, possibly hundreds of dollars worth of discounts from those vendors. I don't know. We'll have to figure out how I want to make that work. But the time has come where we need to start monetizing this whole channel. Not agreed, but that's the only way I can get it to continue. I mean, that's just that. And there's nothing wrong. Nobody is ever wrong for finding out a way to make money off of what they love. And I really have fun doing this. And I would love to be able to make this a very, very lucrative hustle. The problem is, right now, YouTube owns my viewers. If I could get a subscription going, it would be free at first, then later on, charge $5 and grandfather all of the other people in that had already been there. But at least that way, they become my audience rather than YouTube's audience. It would give me the opportunity to open a web store to be able to serve people. And I've got a few ideas for products. I want to be able to help people get products that are absolutely helpful, and skip past all of the YouTube paid for shills. I've received free product, and I'm really particular in what I accept. So if you don't see something on the channel, it's probably because I didn't like it. Not that I've already got everything, but I've had a couple times where people have tried to send me stuff and it was junk, man. It was absolute junk. So I just ignored it. I didn't mess with it. One example is of a good product that I got was that Best Arc welder. They reached out and they sent that thing to me, and man, that's awesome. The Hypa store has been sending me parts to do small engine repairs. I like it. I would recommend that stuff to anybody. So I'd like to get y'all a discount code for those people, and as well as other vendors. But one thing I'm not going to do is something that's useless, like Schweppes, the freaking ginger ale people. They hit me up. They want me to do. How does that help you guys? It doesn't. So I'm not going to accept that. They can keep their money. Cheap, crappy Chinese junk, they can keep their money. I'm not interested in dishonest dollars. It's just straight up. Now, I don't have any problem with something being made in China as long as it's a good product. You know, this sideways iPhone, that's made in China and it's a good product. We all know that. But anyway, that is kind of the direction I'm going with this whole thing. I'm going to get about a dozen. This is number 8. I'm going to get about a dozen of these uploaded. And then I'll start putting the audio on Spotify. And we'll do a little bit more regular podcasts over there. And see if we can't grow this thing. I'd really like to take this thing to the moon. And I really, really ask that you guys could help me out with that. Well, I guess until next time, you guys be safe.